Welcome back. It is summertime, and around here with the nice weather, that also means the start of some county road projects. This afternoon we have Lucas County Engineer Mike Pniewski with us to talk about some of the projects. Mike, good to see you again. We had you a few months ago in the wintertime talking about they were in the midst of planning a lot of stuff, and now it's more of the action plan. But it's like we joke about, oh, it's springtime, it's orange barrel season.
That's what they say. They say, you know, there's two seasons in Ohio, winter and construction, so we're in the construction season right now.
So, a lot of roundabouts coming in.
We do.
Some people like them, some people don't like them. I'm kind of on the fence about as a driver, but it's shutting down a road for 45 days. It kind of is very inconvenient for a lot of people.
Yeah, it can be. You know, the situation is we try to get them done as quickly as possible, and for most construction projects, 45 days is actually pretty quick if you're doing a total closure. But we have 4 roundabout projects coming this year, and we've staggered them throughout the season so that, you know, no one area has to get too much detours around, so that people can still get around those areas. So we're just finishing up Garden and Albin. That'll be done early next week, hopefully on Monday, but maybe Tuesday. And then we're looking at starting our next roundabout project, which will be at Hill and Centennial, and that will be starting up next week. And then after that, there'll be Holloway and Salisbury in Monclova Township. That'll be starting in early July.
So will the 2 projects be going at the same time, or you don't start the one at Holloway until the one on McCord is done?
So the one on Hill and Centennial, there'll be a little bit of overlap between that one and the one at Salisbury and Holloway, but they're fairly far apart. So the one on Holloway and Salisbury, that will not begin until all the work on Albin Road is complete, because they're relatively close.
Yeah, and then you mentioned also McCord and Hill, or McCord where?
Then the last one is at Bancroft in McCord,
Bancroft.
And that'll be starting at the end of July.
So what, you see the research, what is it about roundabouts that make them safer for drivers?
So it's twofold. The main thing that it does is it forces people to slow down in an intersection. So the other thing that it does is it removes what we call point of conflict. So the most dangerous points of conflict when you're dealing with an intersection is a left turn movement or moving through. And what happens is the 2 most dangerous types of crashes are either head-on or what they call a T-bone crash, where you're hit on the side. And a roundabout intersection largely eliminates those types of crashes. So there's really, in a true roundabout intersection, there's really no fatal or serious accidents that occur there.
But occasionally fender benders from people that don't know what they're doing.
That's correct. Yeah, you'll still see fender benders, definitely, but people walk away from fender benders. And that's what we're really concerned about, is that people, when they get into a crash, that they can walk away and not have something that significantly impacts their lives.
What's frightening is out in the country, like out in Fulton County, out in Williams County there, where you've got 4-way stops, and a lot of times if you're not familiar with it, or it's at night, you don't see the stop sign, and somebody blows a stop sign and gets T-boned, and that's just horrible.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a lot more use of roundabouts in rural areas to basically try to prevent those types of crashes. Those tend to be very high speed, and if you put a roundabout in those intersections, those rural intersections, one, you kind of calm traffic. A lot of big problems in rural areas that people get velocitized, so they just keep going for long straight stretches and lose kind of track of their attention and how fast they're going, and that's what causes a lot of those crashes, that those stop signs and 4-way stops sneak up on them, and they don't see it until it's too late.
Mike, what's the origin of roundabouts? Is it other countries in Europe, perhaps? First time I ever saw one was in the Caribbean on vacation. I'd never seen one before, and it was multi-lanes. I'm thinking, whoa, what's the deal here? But I don't know, they also were out east, weren't they?
Yeah, so what they started out with intersections that are called rotary intersections, where they bring a lot of roads into one central place. A lot of people are familiar with those rotary intersections. They're on the East Coast. They're very prevalent in Europe. What's been changed is what they call the modern roundabout, and the modern roundabout really has its sources in Australia. Australia kind of came up with the modern roundabout. And what occurred is they kind of changed the configuration of them, how they look, so that they're a lot more better for merging, and that people can get a lot good sight distance so that they slow down. They don't necessarily have to stop before they enter the intersection, and they can manage traffic a lot better.
Yeah, slowing down is the key to all driving. A good suggestion for all of us. Mike, thank you so much for being here, and have a safe summer.
Yeah, you too. My pleasure.
We'll be right back.